There are dimensions and there are measures in Tableau. And the best way for me to describe it is just to make an analogy. So you can think of dimensions as buckets, and you can think of measures as how full each bucket is. So if we wanted to look at sales, which is a measure, across state, which is a dimension, imagine 50 different buckets with various amounts of water in each bucket. So then we can measure North Carolina versus Florida and see which one has more or less sales or water in the bucket, if you want to continue the analogy. You can quickly use dimensions to uncover interesting trends in the data. Now I'm going to walk through how you can use different dimensions to uncover interesting and useful insights about your data. This first point is just high-level total sales. And don't worry, I made this look bad on purpose. Just to illustrate my point. Total sales is not very useful. There's about one application I can think about. Are my sales higher this year or are they higher last year? That's a good trend to know. But other than that, just knowing total sales isn't very useful as far as driving an actionable insight. So let's add another dimension to that. Sales and state. Sales by state. Now we're starting to get somewhere. This is a whole lot more useful than just looking at total sales. Now we can see that North Carolina and Florida are where we're doing the majority of our sales, or those are our highest selling states. This is very useful. So your regional distribution network better know this, and they better be stocking and prioritizing North Carolina and Florida. Because if they're not, you're going to be getting a lot of stockouts or just lost opportunities for sales. But also from a marketing standpoint, all of these blue states would probably be a good place for you to send some marketing campaigns. But this still isn't a fully fleshed out picture in that a lot of these blue states are just high population states. So how can we account for population differentials? Well, let's divide it by store count. So now we're doing sales by state divided by store count, and this is a much more accurate, in my opinion, image of what's going on in this organization. Looks like we're doing very well in these states and in these states, and also the border states as well. So that gives you a much better image of what the actual sales trends are like within this organization. But I would say take this a step further and make it even more specific. So now we're looking at sales by store velocity by color of item. And for this traditional style item, they're selling really well on the East Coast. This is a brilliant insight that you can take to the marketing manager and say, hey, we really need to market this traditional style item to people in the eastern states. And also, look, the rustic sales by state are selling really well in these border states, so you could do something very similar there. So this would help you get a much better return on investment from your marketing campaigns.